Very good evening and welcome to Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. I'm Mikey Burrows. Alongside me, as ever, is the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and alongside him, a big welcome this season to a man who's surely going to be a future Hall of Famer, Matt Murray. Great to have you with us on Matchday Live Extra again, my friend.
Cheers, Mikey.
We are going to talk specifically about goalkeepers a little bit later on and get your expertise on what you've seen from Jose Sarr this year. But let's get into it, Tomo. And a week on from a result at Leeds, which felt like maybe dropping 2 points with that late penalty. But then, given the way the 90 minutes had gone, was it a point earned in the end?
Yeah, I think so. So, look, that second half was relentless from Leeds. Just talking to Matt, just saying about how we kept giving the ball away. And Leeds just kept throwing absolutely everything at us. They brought all their subs on, put some legs on more up front, and caused us problems. And eventually they got the penalty for the equaliser. But again, we've got to learn from that. We've got to go out there this evening and make sure that we retain possession of the ball. Because we looked our best when we got possession of the ball, moving the ball around. Wasn't our best performance in that second half against Leeds.
Because, Matty, I know you were here for the Brentford game especially, and Wolves kind of really struggled on that occasion to break down a very organised team. It was different last week in that we were the team trying to be that organised side, but I guess from your point of view, you really want to see an improvement from the last time you were able to watch them in person.
Yeah, desperate to see an improvement, and obviously the results going into the Leeds game, the response from the defeat to Brentford had been very, very good. I still, I feel against Aston Villa, some of the, up to 80 minutes, the performance hadn't been there, but they ended up turning it around, getting the win, which was unbelievable. Look, they didn't lose against Leeds, but you say when they took the lead and everything else, then sometimes you want to see all different things from a side, and that's what I thought Brentford did when they came here. I know it wound the fans up, I know it antagonised everyone, but that game management and the way they broke up the game once they went ahead, and sometimes that's what you have to find, a way to win ugly at times and get that result through. So, look, it was a penalty, in my opinion. Wolves didn't lose the game. Ellen Road, Tomo knows as well, it can be a difficult place to play when that crowd's up and everyone's there, the energy. So I'm sure that they'll have reflected on the game. Probably wanted the game to come around a little bit quicker. But, yeah, I'm hoping for a lot better performance in the Brentford game. But all in all, still where Wolves are in the table, doing pretty well. 3 wins and a defeat. And a draw as well going into this game. They should be feeling pretty positive.
It's a strange situation, isn't it, Tomo, that we haven't played anywhere near as well as we did in the opening 3 games, and yet we didn't get a point or a single goal in those opening 3, and we've managed to find a way to win. Will they be in any way concerned that they're maybe not hitting those heights they did in the opening games performance-wise?
I don't think so. I think that they'll bother more about the results. I say, look, we've seen the 3 performances where we got Man U, Tottenham and Leicester, where we played really well. Say we couldn't score a goal, we created more opportunities than we've ever done in games. And then all of a sudden things just changed around. Say Watford away, so they didn't play that well, but got that victory, clean sheets as well. And that's what it's all about, getting results. It's about getting results in this league. You can't afford to keep losing games. Doesn't matter how well you play. You saw the fans backing the team, getting behind the manager, but you need results. And that's what they've done. They've gone out there, not played the best football, but what they have done, they've put points on the board. And that's what it's all about in this league. You can't afford to play nice football and lose fixtures. Pressure builds on them. We said this at the beginning. Pressure builds on the team. If you don't score goals, don't matter how many times you create opportunities, you've got to put the ball in the net. And we know this is the most difficult thing to do.
Results or performance, Matt Murray? I mean, if you're being greedy, you want both, but you take the results over the performance any day.
Yeah, of course, results is the currency you need. And look, you've seen it with our old manager, Nuno. He's gone and lost his job. And I think there was a bit of both there, that once the results don't come and the performances aren't there as well, then people are going to be in trouble. What I felt the pleasing thing was, like Tom alluded to there, the first 3 games of the season, you could see the change, you could see the identity, you could see what Wolves are trying to do. When I came and watched Brentford, that early on, you could see that Wolves are trying to play higher up the pitch, goalkeeper higher, back line higher, locking on. So yeah, they need to be better in possession, but still, obviously results is the most important thing. But yeah, the performances are improving, coming on time. There's always going to be a bit of time, but they're definitely getting there and going in the right direction. And Hechan all over him. Very impressed.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about Jose Sarr. We'll hear from Bruno in just a second, but we've talked about it. So let's look back on last week's draw at Ellen Road. Corner to be taken left-footed from the right-hand side. Leeds have got 4 players making runs forward, and it came off the head of Saiz. And it will be another corner, left-footed for the right-hand side. Same again for Leeds. Whipped in towards the near post and flicked on dangerously by Rodrigo. As a diagonal ball goes towards Semedo. Semedo has got the better of Harrison. Right-hand side of the box, trying to pull it back. It's Jimenez to strike, and he drops to Hee-Chan Wang! Hee-Chan scores! Oh. The flag stayed down. Leeds are protesting to check it. Hee-Chan Wang has got another. In the right place at the right time as Jimenez's strike fell to him. He made no mistake from close range. It's Leeds 0, Wolves 1 at Ellen Road. Jimenez needs somebody to make a run in the penalty area. Still has it, Jimenez. Now trying to find Traore, who couldn't control Jimenez. Now he's fouled inside the D, and Wolves get a free kick in a very dangerous area. Everybody else close to it. It's Moutinho who's high, wide. After all that build-up, it was not particularly close. It's going to drop here. It's the penalty for Gelhardt. What a save by Jose Sarr. That is absolutely stunning. Gelhardt, good feet away from Neves, driving into the penalty area. Still running, going down. Robert Jones pointing, and Robert Jones is going to give a penalty to Leeds. And Wolves cannot believe it. Nelson Semedo with a tired challenge. I'm not sure there's a huge amount in it.
No, mate.
Here he comes. Rodrigo to strike it. Sends Jose Sarr the wrong way. And Leeds have got themselves an equaliser in stoppage time at Ellen Road. It's Leeds 1, Wolves 1. And Wolves just could not see the job through. So that was the result at Leeds last time out. Let's take a look at the team news that Bruno has selected for this one. 2 changes from that game. Francisco Trincao, that man you can see on your screen, comes in from Adama Traore, who drops to the substitutes bench. And there is also a change in midfield with Ruben Neves starting in place of Leander Dendoncker. Tomo, what do you make of those changes?
I'm very surprised Trincao's coming in with the Adama going out and onto the bench. When you're looking at players who are going to excite crowds and break teams down or push you higher up the field, you're looking at Adama. And I'm surprised that he's done that. But at the end of the day, the manager's made changes in the past few weeks, bringing Dendoncker back in for Neves. But it's been reversed today, where they've swapped them both over. But yeah, my biggest surprise has been the Traore one. So for him to go out to the side, for Trincao to come in.
Matt, I know you would have kept Adama Traore in there.
Yeah, especially with what happened to Watford. I think, for Everton against Watford. And I think those defenders might be a little bit shell-shocked. So Adama Traore, of course, if he could always have that end product, then he'd probably be an 80, £100 million player, what he can do. We're not privy to seeing what goes on in training all week. Trincao maybe smashed it. I think he'd been out with COVID for a little bit or something like that, and then he's come back into the team. But I know he'd been away from it. So, look, Adama Traore, by all accounts, didn't have his best game at Leeds, but we still saw against Villa some of those runs he went on and what he can do against defences and get a team. So, even though he isn't starting, I still expect him to play a big part in the game tonight. But yeah, I was surprised to see him left out.
Well, Bruno's made some big calls in his team selection. Here's what he's had to say ahead of this one.
Just looking at Everton, their form is going in the opposite direction to yours. Only one win in their last 5, and obviously beaten 5-2 last week by Watford. Are you surprised at their decline? What have you made of Everton? What do you expect?
Look, when I analyze the opponent, I really don't care about the result. And sometimes I watch the game without the goals. And so what I can see, they have experienced manager, and when you look for the team, they are very very solid, and they have the four guys who play in front. They are guys with a lot of experience. So in a moment, any one of them can score any goal. So I really don't care about what happened in the last games, because that thing happened with us. We didn't score any goal in the first three games, and after that we start scoring. So every time football is a moment, and the moment is every time the next game, and as you know, the things change very quickly. So what we want is to continue in our way, and we know we're going to play against a strong opponent.
That's Bruno Lage discussing Everton. We'll talk about them in a second, but we've got Matt Murray here, so we have to talk about goalkeepers, because we've got one of the best that the club has had in the last couple of decades. I wonder, Matt, how you rate Jose Sarr from what you've seen of him so far.
Yeah, really, really impressive. I like what he'd done for Olympiacos. I thought he was, done very well for them, and it was interesting to see how he came and stepped into Rui Patricio's shoes. But I thought, especially the first couple of seasons, Rui Patricio had been absolutely outstanding. Obviously, got his, went to Roma. Sarr's come in, and he's been excellent. And any little mistake he's made has been a really positive one. He's kind of come off the line and sweep up. I think he dominates his area well. He's made some big saves. Made a big save at Villa Park. Wolves go on and win the game. Big save before Leeds scored, so ended up being a big moment. Very good with his feet, very composed. So Wolves want to have more possession. Wolves want to play with a higher line. He's that dominant goalkeeper. He's proactive coming off his line. Looks like a good size, good build. That's always a thing as well. When players come over into English football, into the Premier League, goalkeepers especially, how do they settle? How do they adapt? So, yeah, I've been really, really impressed. And by all accounts on the lads as well, he's a proper top guy, a real character, good in the dressing room. So, yeah, there are big boots to fill. But, yeah, early days of Sarr, big tick from me.
Just talk to us there, Matt, a little bit more about that element of how he can start. I mean, we saw with the goal at Southampton for Raul Jimenez that came from his clearance downfield. Tomo and I have talked about it in the last couple of weeks. Just that difference in having someone who is a little bit more creative, whether it's throwing or kicking. I mean, you were brilliant throwing out.
Yeah, certainly wasn't a kicker, was I? But but that's the way the game's evolved now, and that's what the top keepers do. If you look at the goalkeepers now, if you look at Manchester City with Edison, Alisson, how many times do you see Edison and Alisson go and boom a ball over the top? So if teams want to lock on and do that press, if a goalkeeper can go long, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Got the ability, and you got to pick the right options as a goalkeeper. So, I thought Rui Patricio was a very good shot stopper, but now Wolves want to play with a higher line. They need Sarr because he can do that, and also with the ball at his feet. Connor Cody was a sort of quarterback for Wolves, wasn't he, when under Nuno? Now Wolves are playing higher up. Sarr needs to get on it, and yeah, when he's looking for those attacks, setting people, hitting Jimenez or Wang or people like that when they want to get on the run. So yeah, I've been very, very impressed, but it's a great option, and it does affect the opposition. It plays in their mind. And Pickford could do it at the other end for Everton, by the way, tonight. So that will be something that Wolves have to be aware of.
The goalkeeper's going to be in for a busy night, Tomo, do you think? I mean, we heard Bruno talking a little bit there about Everton's thrashing last week at home to Watford. They are surely going to come out and be at it from the off today.
Well, it's hurt your pride, hasn't it? So losing 5-2, it's going to hurt you, definitely. So, well, if it doesn't, there's a problem. So you expect some kind of a game from Everton tonight. So you'd expect them to come out and throw everything at them. But we've just got to take advantage of it. We've got to make sure that any opportunity that we got, that we punish them.
Because, well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because this is them beating us here last year.
Yeah.
They punished us and beat us when arguably we played pretty well in the game at Goodison the back end of last season, Tomo. There's something about Everton. They just seem to have a good record. They've only lost one of the last 6 visits here.
Yeah, so that's the problem, isn't it? So Michael Keane was his late winner here last year. So look, so you've got to put that to the back of your mind. You've just got to go out there and perform the way that you want to. The manager well drilled his team, so the way that they want to play. We've seen the team, the way that we press the game, and that's what we've got to do. But what I didn't like, or I did enjoy against Leeds, was that possession, keeping hold of that ball. We just kept giving it away a little bit cheaply for me. And it's all about options, making sure you got the correct options. But you can just see off some of the game last year. So look, we played pretty well, but you've got to defend for the whole 90 minutes. You've got to make sure that you keep teams at bay, and that's what we've got to do against Everton tonight.
We saw it here, Matty. Alex Iwobi's already got 1 goal. We just saw him there causing a few problems. Does that maybe explain why he's come in for Everton tonight? They clearly feel like he's a player who's got a good record against us. The same with Richarlison, who has got a phenomenal record against Wolves, 5 goals in 6 appearances versus. So, of course, those two are in tonight.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And I thought maybe Rondon would start just with being ex-Albion, but yeah, it's funny how players have good, they do enjoy playing against certain sides. And Tomo probably couldn't think of players that he had really good joy against or teams. And there's other times when you think, whenever, for me as a goalkeeper, I played against certain strikers and they always seem to have my number. So, Iwobi will have confidence in how he's played here before. Richarlison, as I say, it's amazing where Wolves have come, though, since that first Premier League game of the season where, a few years ago when Richarlison played and scored 2 against Everton. So, yeah, be a really good game tonight. Both teams wanted to prove a point, but I still feel Wolves, if they start well, can have too much for Everton tonight.
Tomo, where do Wolves get at Everton tonight? Where are the key action areas for you?
I think that front line for me. So, Wang's played really well. He's got his goals where it's mattered. It'd be nice for Raul to get a goal as well. So, you can see his impatience where he's getting... he wants that goal. He wants to get that, make sure he gets off the mark in front of the Molineux crowd. And we're all wanting to. But I just think that strike force that we've got, Trincão's coming there as well with him. I just think that's why we're going to put pressure on them. He's brought Neves back in to tie up that midfield area. Hopefully he can have a lot of the ball. A lot of the play will go through him as well. Moutinho doing that work in there as well. But I'm hoping that those 3 of us are going to cause a problem for Everton.
Matty, Tomo mentions Hee-Chan Hwang. I know you're a big fan of him as well.
Yeah, he's just been so clinical. And again, you talk about people adjusting and adapting. And, by all accounts, when he played with Haaland before, he was excellent. I think Wolves have missed Jota. And Hee-Chan seems to be that sort of player that can come and combine. I feel that Raul, since his goal against Southampton especially, just saw some other glimpses, didn't you, in the combine? I think it was a Newcastle game here. Saw some really, really good bits from Raul Jimenez. So Hee-Chan playing off him, being in and around it. You can tell he's loving it. But how clinical is the way he just took that? It was instinctive, the goal against Leeds. Just dropped to him and just prodded it home.
It's 4 shots on target and 4 goals in the Premier League, which is remarkable,
I just about to say on the back of that, he just seems to be in the right place at the right time.
It's a great
It's a great goal scorer for you.
Yeah, great nat to have. And you saw with the goals against Newcastle, Darlow was maybe a little bit off the line or a little bit moving slightly in because he's a natural finisher, taking it early. Again, against Watford, it doesn't matter how they go in. We talk about performances and results. It's the same with goals. Strikers don't care. Of course, they'll want to bang one in from 20 yards or beat everybody, but still it's the same, result at the end of the day. If you can bundle one home or be there, get a scrappy goal. So I think he's a really, really good player. He's acclimatised well. I'd love to see Wolves make it permanent. That would be really, really nice. But he seems like a player that's had a tough time last season. He's come here, found a home very, very quickly, and looks like he's buzzing. So again, I agree with Tomo. Those strikers can be the difference and really give Wolves, go on and give Wolves that platform to go and get the 3 points because they want it big time.
Right, we're about to have the light show and we'll be drowned out in just a second. So very quickly, Matt Murray, your prediction tonight?
Tight game, but Wolves are going to win it 2-0, late one to make it 2-0 on the counter-attack when Everton are pushing. So 2-0 Wolves.
Tomo?
I'm going to go the reverse fixture, what they got last, 2-1 to Wolves.
2-1 from Tomo. Of course, I've got to go for a 1-0 win.
Surprise.
It wouldn't be Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra if I didn't. That's just the way it has to be. Don't forget, everybody, head over to the Wolves app or wolves.co.uk for a full live commentary from the 3 of us, and then check back to Wolves Radio after the game for our exclusive post-match reaction. We will leave you to build up to kick-off with memories of a game that Matt Murray has already mentioned. A brilliant opening day spectacular a couple of seasons ago. See you soon. It's Leighton Baines and Gylfi Sigurdsson stood over it. Wolves have everybody back. Helder Costa's a one-man wall. The line is just inside the penalty area this time. It's Leighton Baines to hang it up high into the box, and the ball is bouncing round and the ball is turned in. Oh, it's Richarlison. Wolves didn't deal with the set piece, and on their big return to the Premier League, they're behind early. Wolves 0, Everton 1.
That's it, isn't it? That is welcome to the Premier League. Wolves enjoying good possession early on. Ball comes in and just couldn't really clear our lines there. Richarlison nicks in for a tap-in from 4 yards.
Dorsey couldn't quite get it. It's back with Michael Keane. Oh, almost intercepted, and Jota has gone down here, and there could be real trouble for Phil Jagielka. It's a red card Phil Jagielka is sent off. Everton are down to 10 men. And the game might just have opened up for Wolves. Huge mistake. Can they capitalise on it now?
Now this is pretty close. Difficult to get this up and over and down in time.
It is. Neves, you know he's got the power as well. He can do everything, Neves.
6 goals last season for Ruben Neves. A couple of them free kicks, and maybe slightly further out than this. But he's got it in his locker.
It's a fairly straight run-up.
He was the magic man last year. Can he deliver again? Here comes Neves with a right-footed free kick.
Yes! Ruben Neves! Ruben Neves! Ruben Neves! He lights up Molineux with a stunning curling free kick into the top corner. It's game on in the Premier League. Wolves 1, Everton 1. Neves is up and running in the Premier League.
What a fantastic goal that is. He's just caressed it into the top corner. Pickford gets a hand to it, but it was too accurate. Look at that, right in the top corner. I mean, Pickford's on that side as well, but such is the technique of the goal. The thing is, you expect nothing less from Neves these days.
Well, if they didn't know about him before, the Premier League certainly knows about him now. Ruben Neves opens his account in the greatest of styles. Oh, always fine margins in these Premier League games. Always going to be tight and tense and nervy. And here comes Richarlison again into the penalty area. Richarlison to curl it, Richarlison to score. It's a second for Everton, a second for Richarlison. Wolves going to sleep. They crafted the opportunity and it opened out for him, and Richarlison with the instep of his right boot curls it into the far corner. The 10 men are ahead. Wolves 1, Everton 2.
It's just far too easy from the throw in there. I think Wolves just seem to stand still. It's a great finish. He's come inside and he's just slid it into the far corner, but Wolves they were just at 6s and 7s here.
Little flick in field, and I think it's Neves that just doesn't go with him.
You know, Richarlison's run off the back of Neves, and I just wonder if Neves is struggling with his ankle, because you don't expect that from him. And he guides it in past Cody. Cody goes round the body of Cody into the far corner, giving Patricio no chance.
Wolves 1, Everton 2, 67 and a half minutes played. Everton down to 10 men. There's still time for Wolves in this one. Bolly's going to try and charge forwards, trying to thread it through. Bonatini's made a great run. Bonatini trying to play it back out wide to the left-hand side to Vinagre. Vinagre. Back in field it goes to Neves. Neves lines up across, trying to whip it in. Jimenez! Yes! Raul Jimenez opens his Molineux account and gets Wolves back on level terms for the second time. What a wonderful cross and a brilliant header from the Mexican sensation. It's Wolves 2, Everton 2, game on again.
Oh, what a fantastic goal. Neves again, the star of the show, gets the ball out of his feet and crosses an inch-perfect ball for Jimenez, who guides it into the far corner. Lovely glancing header.
He just steps off his man, Raul Jimenez, just away from Michael Keane, and how he manages to get that on target when he's leading back.
That's fantastic movement, and all it is a foot. He's just a foot off Keane, but you've got to give credit to Neves with a ball like that. 1 goal and 1 assist for Neves today. He's been Wolves' star.
Absolute world class.
I've got to say,
from Ruben Neves.
Jimenez deserves that because he's worked very hard today.